And we're live. So we were discussing how. And let me preface this. So we got disconnected. We had some technical difficulties. We got disconnected, but we're back now with these two gentlemen, Jared McGee and Mr. Chester Sharp of Sharp Creative Agency. All right, and I think we were discussing how you go about when you get a client and how you go about what planning a marketing or advertisement plan for that agency. And I asked, I think, was it like on a contractual basis or was it like just on as a consultant as a case by case thing?
Normally, it's there is an agreement, just before we do business, and just to kind of piggyback or go back to your original question. Initially, it's a discovery. We have discovery meetings. We do a little, we do a lot more listening than we do talking. Again, just to identify, you know, what the needs are, what they're anticipating and what they see, and then also what they don't anticipate, what they're not seeing. What trends are happening within their industry, within their market, and so we collectively identify areas that we can enhance and help them with their brand and with their strategy. So number one again is strategy, and then number two is just building and creating creative content. And whether that's social media marketing, whether that's email marketing, all the marketing needs to speak the same thing. It needs to be done at a certain level, and it needs to set the expectations for the customer. And once we do that, the business in itself delivers on the promise with their product or service. So that's initially how we work. Again, we do a contractual contracts, agreements, just because normally, when you're marketing and branding, it's not going to happen overnight, especially,
It takes time.
yeah, depending on where they're at. So we can't just, we're not going to come in and sell them a dream and say, hey, this is going to happen overnight. This is going to happen in 1 week or 2 weeks. It's going to take some time. But when we get the opportunity and we do it, we're going to do it the right way, and they allow us to do it the right way. We usually, we typically have, great results. Like I said, one of our BMW, they're having record months in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
They're having record months in the car industry. So when done right, you set yourself up for the short term, but more importantly, you set yourself up for the long term as well. So.
Okay. So I got ahead of myself a little bit in asking you that question because
Okay.
I should have asked you both. Why marketing and advertisement? Like, why did you decide to go that particular route?
One, because it tells a story. We're all about telling the story. Two is that it also offers more for the community. And that's what we saw it as a way to give back to our communities. And three is just the opportunity to also, like I said before, is to open up positions for other people that's looking to do. We find other people with talent.
That
And
look
with
like
that talent, yeah, with that talent, we make them come in. We also let them add to our vision, and we put it all together because we like creatives. That's what it's all about. It's mainly just about creatives. So we get them all together, and we put out the vision for what we need to, for any brand, for BMW, for Sharp in general, and pretty much just as far as like their businesses too as well. So we don't just have creative that works for Sharp. They have other visions as well. So we like to make sure we add all of that out.
and
Okay.
and really Sharp at its core, when we started with just the whole idea. We started with events. We started with bringing people, the idea of bringing people together, centered around great food and great music. We wanted to create an environment for entrepreneurs, young professionals, business owners, get them in a space and a laid back, cool vibe, and allow them to network and mingle, and hopefully, they can find funding for the business. They can find possible partnerships. But that's the start of it. From there, Jared and I, we wanted something a little bit more sustainable. So we had the bright idea of what if we take the same principles that we use to market to a diverse audience and, apply that to small businesses. Would it work? And so we applied it. We got our first client, next to the Barge Wines, and they were where we kind of cut our teeth. It's where we learned how and what it meant to have strategy, what it meant to make sure everything is done in a certain way. So we learned with them. But to answer your question, why marketing? It's a privilege. It's an honor to be able to take someone's baby, which is their business, and allow us to tell their story. I don't trust my kids with anybody, too many people.
Right.
So for a person to see something in us, for them to trust us, it's honest. We don't take it lightly. We're very humble with it, but it's the greatest. It's the greatest opportunity to help someone communicate their vision, communicate their purpose, communicate their products and services, and in turn help them grow their business. That's the biggest reward. So marketing gives you the opportunity, gives us an opportunity to dabble in so many different fields that it's really just a cool concept. The stuff that we do. I'm really surprised and blown away that we get to do this for a living. You know what I mean? It's such a cool situation, a cool concept. So, but that's to answer your question. That's what we chose marketing.
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I'm a graphic designer by trade. That's what I do.
Okay.
So I understand most of the people who do marketing and branding or graphic designs, any type of creative that tries to bring someone else's vision to life, they tend to have a character of giving, right? They tend to have a character of giving, because I actually get joy in a client's success off of a flyer or any type of advertisement that I've done.
Right.
It just makes me feel, and I don't have to tell anybody I've done it. It's just
that's it.
Right. So I understand that, and we're kindred spirits in those regards, man. I definitely understand that. But you do get those clients that are just headaches.
Man, listen. Yeah, and make you question anything or not. Make you question. Yeah, go ahead.
Now those clients. Now this is the thing, because it's sort of a precarious situation, because don't know how you run your business, but if you do it anything like me, I get a deposit before I start any type of work, right? That's just me.
Right.
And it's sort of a double-edged sword, because I take that deposit. Yeah, they're obligated to pay me, but now I'm obligated to deal with them. Like, right?
Like, no turning back now. This is it.
Right, no turning back. So I'm obligated to deal with them. How do you deal with those clients? Like those, it's just no matter what you do, it ain't right, or no. The client that gets me is the client that says, out of a whole paragraph, you missed a period right there.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So, I'll be honest with you, man. So I learned a lot about that this year. And I say one way that we kind of eliminate the headaches is to price them out. One way is I was telling a friend of mine, and Jared knows this. We talk about all money ain't good money,
Right.
And every situation, like we passed on a major situation just because it wasn't the right fit for us. And it doesn't mean that we wish them any harm in their endeavors, but we want them to be successful, and we'll be the first to congratulate and celebrate them. But sometimes you got to be willing to say no to a situation, no matter, like the case in point, like LeBron James. So when he first, came out of high school, he went and sat with Reebok, and Reebok said, "Here's a $10 million check. If you don't leave and go to the meeting to Nike, you can have it, and we'll be done. You'll be an instant millionaire if you don't leave and go to the Nike meeting." But LeBron, knowing, thinking ahead, he's like, I'm going to decline on this deal, and I'm going to go sit with Nike and see what they have to offer. Well, we know what the end of the story. We know how it all ends.
Lifetime.
Lifetime, yeah. So, you know, to answer your question, we price them out. I've learned, like, look, you know, what we do is not, number one, their business is not cheap, and what we do is not cheap. And you know, if you say, hey, it's going to be X amount of money, it's not like we're trying to, you know, overcharge. It's just like that's our value. We you know, one of the hardest things is knowing your worth. You know, and we have some talented individuals, man, and whatever we pay them is not enough, to be honest with you. So that a lot of times, if you price the headaches out, you know, you eliminate 99% of them. But the 1% that you know, you're gonna have to deal with, you know, one is we are givers, like you were saying. I really kind of connected with that. So I'm gonna go above and beyond and then some to make this one client happy, because I realize that you know, you might do a great job and no one says anything about it, but if someone has a bad experience, you know, you know, they're going to go tell 15, 20, you know, people. So we try our hardest to satisfy, no matter how much of a headache it is, to the point if we keep going, then we can just give them the money back, you know, if case in point. But a lot of times, to eliminate the headaches, we just price them out. And we're not quick to, like, at this point, we're not quick to jump into bed with anybody. Like we kind of fill it out. And Jared and I were talking.
Chasing money. You ain't chasing money.
No, we're chasing greatness. You know, we're chasing, you know, we're chasing something bigger. It's not about money. You know, if you're doing it for money, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. You know?
And you will always continue to chase money, and it'll never work. It'll never work.
So we're not chasing money. It just has to be the right fit, because if it's not, then don't waste my time, and I don't want to waste your time. You know, and that's why it's important to have those discovery meetings and really get to know somebody and know who they are and their goals and how they act. You know, on their worst day, you know, what is it going to be like? You know, and once you kind of identify that, then you just kind of, you know, say, hey, I don't think this is going to be a good fit. No harm, no foul, and we don't wish you any, you know, ill will, but we just feel like, you know, it's not going to be a good fit. So hopefully that answers your question.
Well, you know what you said about pricing them out. One thing I learned, that when you price them out, not only do you get rid of the headaches, but it leaves you more time to perfect whatever it is you're working on in the first place. Like, it gives you more time to actually work out the kinks in other projects, because you ain't got this headache to be dealing with, right? So I can listen, man. I'm telling you, we kindred spirits in that regard. You know,
I found, like, the person that gives you the critique and the most criticism is the same person that wants it done for free or little to nothing. You know?
Oh my God!
We hit a nerve right there, didn't we?
No, you hit a nerve, because look. This is a pet peeve of mine. This has always been a pet peeve of mine. Okay, if you come to me and you want me to design something for you, and you know, I know you're working on a limited budget. I know it's limited, but I'm a look out for you, so to speak. Right. So I'm gonna ask you. You know, what's in your budget? I'm not trying to figure out all the money you got. I'm just trying to figure out what you're willing to spend on this particular endeavor. You know, like you, and they were like, well, I ain't never did it before. I don't know what it costs. No, I asked you if you knew what it costs. I asked you, what are you willing to spend? Then I can let you know or not. If something costs $300, then you say, well, I got 50. Well, you still got 50. Like, that's what you got. Like, you still. So I understand and then when you do give them a little leeway, a little break, those are the most unruly ones. Right. So my wife taught me, don't give nobody a break, because you never know where the headache is gonna be, and if you're gonna take the headache, you need full price.
Man, listen, that's as my grandmother used to say, that'll preach.
Yeah.
That's
My
hilarious.
wife gets on me. So when y'all tackling a project, because I had your website up here. I'm gonna put it up again. And let me commend you. I like the cleanness of your website, brothers. So I
Thank
like.
you.
I mean, it's befitting of a marketing advertisement agency. You know what I mean? Like it ain't. It's clean. I like it. So tell me these people. Who are these people right here?
Yeah.
And
So
what are their perspective titles? So
yeah. So the one with the hockey jersey, Simba. He's the assistant creative director. Aaron, right next to him with the Boys in the Hood shirt. He is the lead videographer / director of photography. The next gentleman is
Myron.
Myron, he's a lead photographer, and then Scania is the brand strategist or specialist. And then, of course, so you got me and Jared.
okay, so I'm looking at this picture, right? And let me tell you, it looks like a cast from like Ocean's 11, right? So I'm gonna try to describe like the dynamic of your team just by looking at the picture.
Okay.
Right?
Man, this
Okay.
is amazing.
Right. I'm gonna try to do this just by looking at the picture, right? So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm gonna start out with Scania. That's your opener. That's the one. That's the one that gets the introduction. That's the one that starts the process. That's the one. Am I correct so far?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm correct so far. So after the job is got and Scania brings it back, it goes through. I may get these two switched up, but it goes to Mr. Shaw. I mean Chester. It goes to you, Chester, for you to mull over in your head about whether it's the right fit or what we're gonna do on how to make it happen. Then you run it by Jeff, and then Jeff delegates where the photographer needs to go and where the creative director needs to go, and that's how the team functions.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely hit the nail right on the head. I would say, and Jared can attest to this. We always get, I always get, and he always gets feedback from the team. We always, we always encourage them to say, hey, look, we're in search of the best ideas. So whether that comes from Scania, Jared, Aaron, Myron, or Simba, please let's talk about it. We don't necessarily rush and make a decision. I believe in, like Apple and like Google, you hire the right people and they tell you what to do. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I respect my limitations, and that's why I have, these awesome people around me, because, we've gotten where we've gotten because of the people, our people. Our people are our success, and, what really is fulfilling for Jared and I is, most of them will never have the opportunity to do business with, these type of brands, not because they're not talented enough and creative enough, but because sometimes they have to work harder, or they get looked over because the color of their skin, And even though our culture drives pretty much every industry, we still have to work twice as hard. We still have to knock down the doors and break the glass ceilings. And the biggest fulfillment for Jared and I is, like he was saying earlier, to give Simba a chance to do a commercial that blows the socks off of BMW, blows the socks off of the University of Georgia, the University of Georgia Tech, Chick-fil-A, that's the biggest. And that what we're saying without saying it is, we are the culture, and we have some super creative individuals that look like us. We just need the opportunity. So we realize that part of this is not necessarily it is about making money, but it's also about creating opportunities for others. That's big for us, So
Right.
It's a give and take, So that's how we approach it.
See,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
it's
saying. Go ahead, Jared.
oh yeah. See, and that's the main thing. we wanted to set out and actually do something where it's not like Chester said, it's not just about making money, but it's really, really like opening doors. And it's funny how we came across pretty much everybody that's in this group. Even me and Chester, the story behind how we met is just like amazing how everything just came together. A lot of the times we met people just because of chance meetings. Like me and Chester met from another acquaintance, and then one day we just ended up in. Both of us had lost our jobs, and we met up at a Starbucks. I was in there actually for an interview, and he was just sitting there. And I went over there to talk to him. I was like, "Hey, what's going on, Chester? We had worked before," and sat down and started talking. And then everything just started coming together as far as our vision. And we was like, wow, you was thinking about that? I was like, yeah, and that's the same thing I wanted to do too. So when we started looking at that and we started deciding on what we're going to do, how we're going to build this, and we know that we wanted to have something that was going to be with our culture. And we know that we wanted to have something that was going to be a Black-owned business. And because we have talent, like you said, they want our culture.
Right.
But they want to make sure that they get us, and we wanted to make sure that we get us. And the thing is that we're not bringing in people and trying to change them. We want you to be yourself. Like me and Chester are yin and yang. Like if you look at that website, you can look at those pictures. You can tell. Like Chester is the button-up guy. He's the guy that you put out in the front. I'm gonna be the guy.
He George Clooney. He George Clooney.
Yeah, he George Clooney. That's
you're
exactly
butt, right?
I laughed. That's why I laughed when you said that. I was like, okay, he's gonna get this right. But he's George Clooney. So and that's what it is, and that's what makes us great, because we're not bringing anybody in to change themselves. We want what you have. We want what you're bringing to the table.
And to piggyback off of Jared is, you know, we cross paths at our lowest. To entrepreneurs that are watching this, or business owners, you know, they say fall fast, you know, fail fast. You know, we are humble because we don't have a straight road of success. We have a lot of failures. We have more failures than successes. Failures, it builds character. It reveals who's people's true motives. So when you're at your lowest, who's around? That's your team. You know, and so when I ran into Jared at Starbucks, I just came off the worst event experience in my entire career, my entire life, to the point where I was ready to give up. I was ready, like, I'm done. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do. I'm going to do work a 9 to 5, and that's it, right? But you know, God had a different plan, you know, and you know, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe that, you know, everything happens for a reason, and so. At all the people that I could have ran into at Starbucks, Jared was there, and we just kind of connected, and we've been rolling ever since. And that was 2 years ago, you know. You know, he's right. We're yin and yang. I'm pretty driven, and so sometimes he has to, you know, me and him have our one-on-one talks, and you got to calm your butt down. You know, you got to chill out a little bit, you know. Because, you know, we both are striving for greatness, but we go about it in different ways, you know, and that's we complement each other.
I don't necessarily think like, okay, you may have been at your lowest point, you and Jared, y'all both may have been at your lowest point, but you hadn't failed, right? And I try to tell people, like, just because you reach your lowest point don't mean that you fail. You fail when you stop trying. That's when you fail.
That's true.
Whenever you stop trying to succeed at anything, you fail. What I think is that lowest point made you actually see what you could be at your highest point. Like it made you actually see it, right? Like before, when you working in corporate America, you can see you moving up the ladder in a monetary sense, like money wise, right? But when you get to your low point, I think you look up and you can say, I could be that. Let me go do that.
Right.
Let me go find out how I can get there, because I've tried it over here and look where I'm at. You know what I mean? Like I tried it over here. So that the same thing happened with me, man. I stumbled into graphic designs, and and you know, I know you wanted to preference how we met Mr. McGee, but I'm
Mhm.
not I'm not gonna give him the luxury of being even like you know, mentioned in the BRI because obviously he has annexed himself away from the culture. So I'm not gonna
Right.
right. I'm not gonna say
Uh,
his name. I don't want nobody to pick him. I don't, you know, yeah, Bob. Yeah, Bob. I don't want
Yeah,
nobody to
Bob.
go look up.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want nobody to go look at Bob or nothing. But we met serendipitously. Like, you know, it was just a post on somebody's page, and I told him though, don't let this particular person get him out of character. And he responded back to me like, yeah, blah, 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 whatever. I don't want to give too much information because everybody know who we're talking about. Right.
Right.
I
So
yeah.
right. We'll tell you in the green room. But
Right,
anyway.
right. I have an idea.
But when I'm a curious dude, you know, I'm just curious. So when he responded to me, I went to his page to figure out like what he do, you know. I actually thought he was a preacher or something. Like, like I thought he was
I can see that.
So that red
yeah,
suit.
yeah. Right, the red suit.
Right,
Yeah.
right. One of them preachers drink a lot of red wine.
Right, exactly. And then you know, I seen that y'all had a advertising agency or you know a branding creative agency, and not only did I see the agency, I saw the work that you did. And let's keep it 100, as they say now. You don't see too many minority-owned creative agencies that getting you know major contracts, right? You don't see that. You and it's a shame because even though you don't see minority-owned agencies getting the contracts, they're minority-employed agencies, though.
Right.
Right? They're minority employed agencies behind the scene of these big agencies that's doing this incredible work. Right. And I like the fact that you have no shame in saying we want to have a black owned, black ran business. Cause it takes a lot of courage to say that, man. And you know, I see value in that. You see value in that because I want to give young kids who come up after us inspiration to say, I can be a graphic designer too, or I can have my own creative agency too. And it wouldn't be so far fetched because I look like them, right? Like I look like them. Before Barack Obama, we couldn't tell a young black boy, yeah, you can be president of the United States. We can tell them you can dream about being president of the United States, right? But now we have examples like you two who are out here in your advertisement agency and you're doing major work. And when kids see that, or even a young adult see it, you know you can inspire them to go in that line of work.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
and I see that's what y'all try to do as well as employ people, right? Like provide inspiration as well as give other people opportunities to display their skills.
Yeah, like I said before, like the talent and the gifting is there. Like it's you know I've come across more and I've worked with you know black, white, Latino creatives across the board. We both have, and there's such a pool of talent that is just you know uh, waiting. You know, I don't even say waiting, but it's there. You know, and um, you know that goes back to you know I would say for me you know for my father and I say Jared would say the same thing like you know since I was a kid you know it's been pro-black you know and it's you know it hasn't been anything to where we have hatred towards anybody else but when you think about what you know our people have gone through and you know when you, particularly when you talk about you know entertainment you talk about pretty much any industry a lot of times we would have the idea create the product or service but we wouldn't get recognition for it you know it's almost like when Jay-Z say pay us what you owe us because for so long you guys you know the industry took advantage of our people and because we didn't necessarily know you know and we didn't get what we were owed you know and so It's important, man. It's important. Like there's nothing to be, like we embrace our blackness, man. We look to it as our guide,
Yeah.
And I don't. And like when I sit in BMW meetings, they recognize that America is changing. America is becoming more a people of color. It's slow. It's changing. And there's within those different cultures, you have subcultures. So the truth of the matter is, corporate America they can't speak to us without having us in the boardroom. One, and they can't speak to us without doing business with us, as a creative agent. So I think that there is a slow change in corporate America recognizing the importance of doing business and having people of color on the boardroom, in the boardroom, and then doing business with business owners, minority business owners. So I think they recognize it. And then as Black folk, we realize that we don't have to wait for them to recognize us to give us a seat at the table. Forget that. We'll build our own table,
Right.
And we'll create our own Tyler Perry. We'll create our own lane. You know what I mean? So I think it's just a combination of just the right timing of a lot of different things, and, if we contribute just a small portion to that, then I'm good with that. We have visions of, what we talked about 2 years ago, as far as our visions, is starting to happen today. And now our discussion now is we want to start schools. We want to buy property. We want to be in venture capitalists. We want to be able to invest money into, young Black entrepreneurs. We want to do more than just promote and market and brand. That's just what we do now. And that's our agency. But we have dreams and desires of growing into doing a lot more with what we're given. It says too much is given, too much is required. So that's just my answer.
Hey, I don't know how old you two brothers are. I don't know, but I would gather y'all were born in the 70s.
Well, I was born in 1980.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was born in 70.
I got claim that 80, buddy.
Okay, I give you that. I give you that, but I say that to say this: if you was born in 1980, that means your parents actually experienced the civil rights movement as young adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
They experienced this. They experienced the civil rights movement as young adults, and then they also experienced the Black is Beautiful, Black Power movement as young adults too. Like they experienced both of those extremes where
Right.
we're fighting for freedom, and then Black is Beautiful, right? You two and myself as well, we are a product of that, right?
Absolutely.
That's what we are. We are a product of that. If you notice, anyone after 85, 86, born after 85 or 86, they have a more universal approach to I ain't gonna say race relations, but they have more white friends than we did growing up.
Right.
It's true. It's true.
All right. Yeah.
They have more white friends than we did. So when we coming with that Black is Beautiful, they like, come on, man, what you talking about? But they don't understand that being pro-Black does not mean you're anti anything else.
Right.
No,
Right.
no.
We like I love everybody, man. We love
I love
everybody.
everybody.
We'll
But-
work with anybody.
The reason why I'm pro-Black is because we are 250 years behind,
Mm.
right? Like, remember, we were in slavery for 250 years while this society was building and flourishing and evolving into what it is. And then when we were free, they didn't have no debriefing. We didn't go to a school to be debriefed from slavery. So I try to tell people it's going to take us time to reach there. But during that time, there's going to be people like you, myself, and others who change the pendulum, who switch it to be forward thinking,
Mhm.
right? To
Yeah.
be forward thinking, like and but if people don't interview you or if people don't see you, right, they won't know that change is happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Right? They won't know it. So I want them to know it. That's the whole reasoning behind this series, to let people know that there are people like you who live in a regular house, drive a regular car, you know what I mean? Got regular problems like everybody else, but they still find a way to make a way.
Yeah. Yeah. And we appreciate it. Thank you so much, for the
Yeah, we
opportunity.
definitely appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and bring, giving us this platform. But there's so many people from our history that fought for something they never saw.
They never saw.
They had an idea, and maybe they didn't know exactly what it looked like. But when you mentioned Barack Obama, there's people, countless number of people that fought for something, just equality in itself, that they didn't get, that they didn't see it. So I do it for them. I do that. Part of it's for doing it for them. I do it because it's what's been instilled in me. Like I said, my father was so far ahead of his time, and being in business meetings and thought it was about who could talk the loudest and longest as a kid, really was preparing me for my future. So
Right.
I can't, it's in me. Like I was saying before, when we were at our lowest point, one thing my dad had, one of the lessons my dad taught me is, you get knocked down, you got to get back up. And even when I wanted to give up, that purpose inside of me wouldn't let me stay down. And so part of it is, it's part of who I am. And then, lastly, I would say for my kid, I got kids, and so we're hustling and we're building for our last names and for the legacy. And legacy meaning that, yes, it's for our kids, but also, like today, we were at elementary school, a private school in Georgia. This girl, she's the youngest private school owner in the state of Georgia, and she's Black. So we were there with the kids handing out toys, and she's doing a video, and and we're just doing it to to support her. But that's why we do it. We do it because, like you said, we don't necessarily always have to be seen, and we will, because we're doing something amazing. But it's also about, my dad always says, getting your hands dirty. Actually going back and investing in others. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why we do what we do, in a nutshell.
And the cool thing about it is that for the clients that we have too, we incorporate that same spirit into what we do for them. So one of the things that we always do for whatever client that we're dealing with, especially like BMW or Mercedes or anything like that, we get them to invest into the community. We have them go back and give back to the community. We do things like reading books for elementary schools. We have them going to do like the building the houses, like the Habitat for Humanity, different things like that. So it's always, everything that we do is always grounded in the community, and that's what we're doing. Kind of piggyback like what Chester said. We're both the parents. We both have sons, and we like to see our sons, take this and move forward with it, because we know we're not going to be here forever, but we want them to see what we're doing, the struggles that we go through, and the fight that you have to have in order to be in this and what we do. We are carrying what our parents did on our back. My father doesn't work no more in the industry, but he's watching me and watching what I'm doing, and I just like seeing him smile. I like him knowing that I'm really doing something, even as an activist. Maybe in activism, what I'm doing, and even in business, is just to make sure that everything that we've learned, that we've been taught from the generations behind us, we're carrying that forward to the next generation that's going to be ahead of us. Because as Black people, a lot of times we try our hardest not to let the baton drop, but we always end up somewhere letting it do that. and we got to figure out a way, keep pushing and pushing and pushing and striving. We fight. We are the biggest fighters that's in this world. We are the biggest fighters. I don't care what no one says. We're the biggest fighters, and we just got to continue to push that and somehow figure to make this thing all together. Like that black love and that black is beautiful that you said. Back then we were together. We got to figure out a way to get that back together now. And if it be through business, through education, building up these different businesses that we have with our people that we have in our companies, it's going to be the same thing. It's going to continue on. And we just got to keep that legacy going.
And everybody, like, you know, when the people that you see with us, they're in their 20. I'm 40. Jared is, I think, 42. But 42. People that we work with are young creatives. They're 20, 22, and 23 and 24. So the baton that he's talking about, we're passing it back, but we're also, you know, bringing them up, you know, we position them so they can do far greater things than we do. You know, the thing is, you know, it's getting their foot in the door and you know, allowing them to have the exposure. But they're young, you know, so by the time they're our age, you know, there's no telling, you know, where we'll be at and where they'll be at. And, you know, it's you have a hand in kind of, you know, helping the next generation, you know, grow and go to the next level. So that's fulfilling as well.
What I think, though, the baton, like the baton gets passed, like it gets passed, whether you intentionally passing it or not. And I say that like you know, for example, when Ben Franklin tied a key to a kite and discovered electricity, right? It was years and years and years later before people really understood what had just happened, right? But once they understood it, they were able to investigate it and see how they can harness it and for their benefit. And that's what I mean by the baton being passed. People see you. These young people see you and they learn from you, because even if they don't talk to you, they see your presence online. They see you, you know, on social media, Instagram. They see you, right? And they see what you're doing, and then your dog messing with you.
I'm sitting here having a serious conversation, and man, everything just happened.
I'm sorry,
Camera relief. That was awesome. That was awesome. Again, that was my dog. My wife had to come in here and get it.
I was trying to laugh. I was trying to laugh. I saw you looking.
Right. You was like, look. That's it. You was like this. You was like,
oh man.
Yeah, I was like,
right.
But yeah, like you pass the baton just by doing what you do, right? Like, because someone's gonna see it. Someone is gonna see it. I tell people all the time, like, we can't control what people do. We can only control what we do, right? Like, we can only control what we do. And if we know that whatever we do, we're doing it with the best intentions, with a pure heart, and with the spirit of excellence, then somebody is going to pick up on that and learn from that and get inspired from that, whether we are trying to inspire them or not. Because, see, a lot of people try to inspire people. Meaning they try to do things to provoke some type of inspiration from someone, or, you know, towards someone. But inspiration doesn't happen like that. Inspiration is one of those things where you just see it and that's what it is, right? It ain't manufactured. Like, that's just, you know, like you two with business, y'all saw your father. That's what it was for y'all from that point on.
Yeah.
Right? That wasn't a manufactured inspiration. That's your father doing work. That's what he do. You know, and so from that point on, that became, you know, a roadmap for y'all, and y'all are becoming roadmaps for other people, whether you know that or not. right? And as long as you know that you are a roadmap, just make sure your GPS system is working correctly. You know, you know,
Right. Right.
Yeah.
you know, and you two brothers seem like y'all got pretty good GPS, systems. And I'm not gonna wish you any type of luck in business because what the business that you're in is no luck involved, right? That it has nothing to do with luck. But what I will say, I pray that you continue to have the strength, the passion, the ability, the wherewithal, the knowledge, the inspiration, the ideas, whatever it takes for you to run your business successfully and still carry out your mission statement by providing for others. That's what my prayer is for you, right? And when I see another BMW commercial,
Yeah.
I'm automatically gonna assume that y'all did it. Like
It's coming. It's coming, man. I appreciate it.
I'm already gonna tell my friends, yeah, I know who did that commercial.
That's
You know,
it.
they was on my show. They cool, because I like it. Look, man, we're gonna do more business together because, see, a lot of people want to patronize black people because they're black.
Mhm.
I don't want that. I don't know.
Right.
Don't come to me because of that. Come to me now. The blackness gives me a chance,
Mhm.
right? Do that. Give me a chance, but the work gives me the job.
Right.
Right. So to your point, so we met with I don't know where are you are you in Atlanta or where are you at?
I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. Okay. So we met with EPB, we met with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I told them, in such a way that I understand that you have, dollars allotted for
Minority
businesses. I understand that. I want that, but I want to be your go-to agency. In other words, I just don't want it because you have to do it. I want to be because the work
Because you
speaks for
want
it.
them.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't want any handout. I mean, we want business, but it's about we're black and we embrace it. Our team is black, but we do dope work. We do great work, and it shouldn't be solely about what we look like, but it's what we do, So I want to be the main agency. I want to be the main marketing firm. I want to be in the strategy meetings for 2021, 2022, the goals and how do you communicate those goals and how do you reach the target audience. We want that. We don't want just okay. We got this money set aside. We want
let's give it to the black agency.
Yeah, we want the opportunity, and at the end of the day, the work's going to speak for itself. We're going to learn along the way. We never profess to be the know-it-alls. We always take it from the student position, learning as learning, continuously learning. But we're confident in our work, we're confident in our people, but we want the major opportunities, and go ahead.
I just picked up something on you from both of y'all too. Y'all are athletes.
Man. Yes. Yes.
Athletes.
Yeah. Put the best players on the field.
Yes,
y'all athletes because you don't want to compete. I mean, you don't mind competing. Like competing is not like beyond you. I want to compete. Like because I want to know that I'm better than the next person. Like you,
and if I'm not, then at least I know where I need to improve.
Right.
At least I know where to that's the thing. Like I go and look at the other agencies. I look at the top agencies. You know what I mean? I'm like,
what are they doing?
We're ready to fight. We're ready to compete.
Right.
Just give us the opportunity. And if we lose, we lose. Look, we done been through hell already. So if we lose, we okay with that. We can bounce back from that. We can improve. We can get another person in position. We can do this and the other. But don't let us on the playing field. That's it.
Right.
That's
all
it
is. Give us a spot. We need to give us a roster spot and let us go. That's all
Yeah,
we want.
Chester,
let's see.
Chester, you was either a power forward or you pitched in baseball. One of the two. One of the two. You was a power forward.
Definitely. Look, I'm 5'9", brother, so I wasn't a power forward
What 5'9" in the 1980s? You was pretty tall. Like come on.
Look,
in Tennessee too.
But my sport was football. So I play.
I can see that too.
Yeah, I play running back. But yeah, man.
Yeah, you don't mind getting hit. You don't mind getting hit.
Yeah,
and
even in the industry, like growing up in the industry, in the industry in my career, like I used to get so frustrated in corporate America because it wasn't a level playing field. Like you throwing people deals, you throwing people this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I'm okay losing,
right.
But put us on the same playing field and let us play.
Right.
That's it. That's all I care. If I lose,
I want to lose on my own. I don't want to lose because you stacking the deck against me.
Yeah, you can't stack the deck. So the part of the reason you have your own business, you want to kind of, do your own thing. But even at that, in this industry, we turn a lot of heads when people see, and when they go to the website and they see what we look like, because we can entice them with the work, but when they see what we look like, it's like I was not expecting that. And there's a handful of black firms. There is. There's not a lot of us, but there's a handful of us. And I think we're growing. We're it's slowly changing, but we're one of a few. I'd say maybe more than a few, but we're one. There's not a lot of us, out there.
Well. Once again, though, a lot of us didn't even see anyone doing this type of work growing up, right? Like we didn't even know that this type of work existed. I don't even know if we even thought about this type of work growing up.
Yeah.
But I'm the type of dude, because I always used to tell my mom, like, man, if I could just print ebony, I didn't even care about designing. If I could just print it, let me get the printing of it, right? So graphic design has always been in me. Y'all two have always had an entrepreneur spirit in you because of your fathers, but you neglected it for so long because you wanted the security and the stability of working in corporate America versus the insecurity and not knowing where your money gonna come from when you're working for yourself. You didn't want to do that. But that was already in you. So you had to be forced to do it.
Yeah.
Like you had to be forced to do it because it's already in you. And even if you wasn't forced to do it, you would have never been happy doing it, staying in corporate America the way you are right now.
No. I was miserable. I know Jared was miserable as well. And it just, even when I was working, I was thinking about my business or thinking about this or this, that, and the other. And
how can I make that better?
Yeah,
what can I work on for that today? It's always something.
I'm sure every entrepreneur has that feeling, like when they're on a job, like I can do better than this. There's something more inside of me than this job. And I had that feeling, constantly. So sometimes you got to work with what you got, and flip that, and that creates an opportunity, and sometimes you got to, while you working that job, plant seeds, man. I'm telling you, seeds that we planted like last year came to fruition in 2020 in the middle of a pandemic, getting a call from BMW Regional saying, hey, can you guys do this? It wasn't because they found us. It's because we built a relationship, and you never know how many apples come from one seed, and right. that seed turned into, this opportunity. Now it turned into this opportunity. Now it's turning into this opportunity. It's like, plant those seeds and understand that it's not going to happen overnight. But when it comes time to harvest, when it comes to harvest time, look, you'll be thankful that you planted all these seeds, because eventually it's going to come. I know that's sometimes easier said than done, or it's easier to hear it, and it's hard to wait. But if you keep planting those seeds and keep working, I always say, your blessing and your breakthrough is connected to your action. You know, what are you doing with the time that you have? You know, how are you investing in yourself and investing in, your business or your craft? You know, what are you doing? Because whether you know it or not, the opportunity is going to come. Eventually, the opportunity is going to come. The question is, are you going to be ready for those opportunities? Because the one opportunity can change your life. But if you're not ready for that opportunity, if you're not putting in the time, reading your books, honing your craft, studying strategies and this, that, and the other, you will never be prepared for the opportunity. So that's what I tell people. Anyway, I'm getting on a tangent, but no, go ahead.
Hey man, you must be either a Pisces or a Cancer because you just like me.
I'm a Taurus.
Okay, well you close. I'm long-winded. Yeah. I know I can be long-winded. When you said stuff about like when you mentioned that you gotta one thing I learned that if someone can pay $60,000 a year, if they can give you a salary for $60,000 a year, you have to be worth $120,000 a year.
At least 100.
Mm-hmm.
100.
You have to be because they're not gonna never pay you exactly what you're worth because then they can't make any money.
Right.
Like they can't make no money off of you. So when I was working in corporate America, that's how I felt. Like, yo, if they pay me $60,000, I gotta be worth at least 120. Let me go try to get that 120. Now I ain't got it every year. I ain't got it. I'm still trying, but in trying, I'm happy. I'm less stressed.
Get your freedom.
I'm free, and I love what I'm doing. Like I actually love what I'm doing. So even the headaches I love. You know what I mean? Even so
you're appreciative of that.
Right.
That helps build you.
Right. And I see y'all brothers like when the pandemic hit and because you've been in business, you said 2 years now, right? Or 5 years.
Well, we've been in 5 years, but the last 2 years has really taken off.
Okay, so now let's look at it. You start your business up 2 years ago. Everything rolling pretty good. And bam, COVID-19 hit. Now, when COVID-19 hit, I know y'all thought at the onset of it, oh, this is about to be rough.
Right. This is going to be ugly.
I did. We did. We had several conversations like, what does this happen? What's our strategy? What are we going to do? And man, I tell you, man, listen, when you build relationships, man, our clients, were like, look, we can't, we're going to have to reduce a little bit as far as the pay, but we want to keep you on. And that's because of relationship. That's not because, they could have easily, I'm sorry, that they could have easily said, hey, pandemic, we can't afford to pay you. So they said, we'll reduce, we won't keep you on. So that made us feel like, man, made us
they
feel
see the value.
They see the value. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, but then for them to have record months.
In a pandemic.
Trust me, whatever reduction they had before, we went right back to the original price when they started having record months. And
be like, hey, renegotiation time.
And then like not only to get through those difficult times initially in the initial pandemic, but then to get to see growth,
right?
To get like a call and out of nowhere, like literally out of nowhere, say, hey, we get this opportunity, you guys want to do it? And I'm like, what's the budget? And he said, well, it's this number. I said, well, we could have done this for. In my mind, I didn't tell him that. In my mind, I said, we could have done this for. And to my mind, you talking about this is totally different, And and then to come back and then get another call. We want you guys did such a great job. We want you guys to do these two. Now we want you to work with the University of Georgia and Georgia Tech. Like, man, look, that's
hey,
I don't know if you believe. I believe in God, and that's a God thing, man. Because look,
hey, listen, ain't nothing like a big check, man.
Man, listen, what you said, brother.
Hey,
You know
listen,
what?
when I got my first one, I thought I was in the NBA.
We thought we made it. We thought
You
we
ain't
made
gonna
it.
buy a Ferrari, did you?
I mean, like, and it wasn't no astronomical amount, but it was more than I had ever taken in on one client. You know what I mean? Like, and
Right.
and that right there, that feeling right there, got me hooked. I'm hooked now. Like, I'm hooked. Like, that's what it is. Like, I can get paid this for doing this.
Right. Man.
My
Something
talent.
that I love to do, with my
Right.
talent that I love to do. Oh man, I'm gonna do this more often.
That's what I was saying earlier in the interview. I was like, man, I can't believe we get to do this. You know,
Right.
like I can't believe that, you know, people pay us to do what we. I mean, I know we bring value, we bring service, but it's like it's fun. It's not like even the headaches, like you were saying, even when you got to put the fires, it's like we look back and we say, man, look, after all we done been through, look, we thankful for these little fires, you know.
Right.
Because you know a certain part of being an entrepreneur is being able to figure things out, like taking a step back and breathing and say, okay, it's not as, even though it's bad, it's not as bad as it appears to be, you know, and being able to figure things out, you know.
I kind of look at entrepreneurship as being like a sport, like you play football, you get hit, but it's still fun.
It's fun.
It's still fun. Like
Right.
you get hit, you get tackled, and you may get hurt, but it's still fun, and you still want to keep playing because you want to compete and you want to win.
Right.
You know what? We've been talking about y'all, but I'm gonna show them a little bit about, a little different side of y'all. Hold on for a minute.
All right.
I wanna see you do better. Fly, I'ma need a propeller. Fly when it's cold on the wall like a sweater. When I'm high in the train in the weather. Only had one time you can hear my voice. I sing my song, control my song. Only got one life, you can get rich. Times that it rain on the roads, umbrella. Seats in the road, vanilla. BVs in the road, sky dweller. I made up my mind and got on my.
Hey, y'all promo look like y'all got a TV series about to come out.
And literally we do.
Yeah.
It look like a TV series, How to Get Away with Agency Murder or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
That works,
It's
man.
good.
That's a new idea.
Man, that
That's
because
a new idea.
it's classy, but it's down to earth. You know what I mean? Like, George Clooney was the only one in a real suit over here. So Chester was.
Hey man,
Yeah.
Oh no, I call them. They Ocean 11. They Ocean 11.
Right.
That's it,
And
man.
literally, when you said that, I thought about that. I was like, man, he is right, because everybody brought their original style to it, but it all worked.
It all
That's
worked.
what it was for that day. That's what that day was. Everybody
And
brought
that's-
their style, and it worked.
And that's how it is in real, like our day to day. Like, be who you
Yeah.
are. You know, if you want to wear J's and or if you want to wear a red suit, you can do that. But I'm just saying, like be who you are, because that creativity and that.
Leave that man in his red suit alone, man. Leave that man in his red suit alone.
Hey, but you had to be there though, because when I told him I was gonna wear a red suit, he was like, "Hey man, don't come here looking like Suge Knight." And then he saw it.
He is so telling the truth. He's so telling the truth.
And then he saw it, and he was like, "Oh, okay, that's gonna hit." And then everybody that was at the sale, that was like, "Man, that made it right." So,
Hey,
and that's
but-
what
but-
it is, man. It's
hey,
about
hey,
doing that.
Hey, but Jared, though, like, it couldn't help but make it right. It's bright red.
Right, man. You can't go wrong with that, brother.
You can't go wrong with it. Like,
man.
and then you didn't overdo it though. You didn't overdo it. Like it was just a little shirt, little red on. It was just
No red tango.
And my J's on.
And you
That's
yeah.
me. He'll tell you when we go into these meetings, I'm not the dress up type. I'm going to come in there. I may have a hoodie on. I may have some J's. I may have some jeans. I might have some slacks. I might have a sweater. but I'm not that suit person. So to get that was like wow. But I
I'm
still
telling
make
you,
it my
man.
own.
I'm telling you, when I went to the site and I saw the picture, I thought you was like a hip hop preacher. I ain't gonna tell you the story. Before I knew what y'all did, like I thought, you was one of them new age preachers. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, skinny jeans, and,
yeah, right.
Right.
But and then I saw
That's
what you
hilarious.
do. But then I was like, I saw what you do. I was like, okay, it sort of fits because being by you, especially by you being a vice president, right? You like the pit bull, right? You like the pit bull, right? So you're the one that sort of you delegate to your the other people what they need to be doing in their respective lanes. But then when it comes to clients and stuff like that, it's almost like I ain't gonna call you the point man because I don't know the setup of your business, but you probably handle a lot more of the more interactions with the clients themselves between you and Chester.
I say we pretty even on that. My thing is I'm the pit bull as in, so like say when we go into negotiations or whatever, and Chester coming back to me and be like, hey, this is what they're saying. Don't be like, look, man, we know our work. We're not doing that for that. That's not what we're gonna do. We know our work.
Do you go back to the client and say that? Do you go back to the client and say that?
Sometimes I do, but Chester knows how to say it nice. That's why I said I'm the pit bull of that. Chester knows how to say it nice. Chester, that's why we're the yin and the yang. Because as soon as I say what I say, he knows what to say to go back to the client and be like, this is what we're gonna do. This is how we're gonna break it down. That's what it is, and that's what I love about him.
Yeah, and what I tell you, like seriously, man, we don't rush to make a decision. We honestly we ask like our creatives, what do you guys think? That's a lot of I don't want to say how we lead, but it plays a big portion in how we navigate. It's like getting other people's feedback, our team's feedback, because we trust them. We trust their greatness and we trust their opinion. And so the way I lead and the way we lead is, we talk, we communicate, and a lot of times Jared says what I'm thinking or vice versa,
Right.
And sometimes you gotta have somebody to kind of, I don't want to say prop you up, but kind of push you like, okay, you're right. One of the hardest things, man, is going somewhere where you don't know anybody, something totally new, walking in a boardroom and meeting. And I mean, you can't show, that you're nervous or that you're, it's just like before a game, you might have a little, a few butterflies, but when it comes to the game, you forget about, but, we work, and I always tell Jared, we're like coaches, and really, we're like coaching. That's the way my approach is like, sometimes I can be an asshole, and really like the first year, extremely demanding, overly demanding, and we talking about stuff to turn around in 24 hours. Let's get it done. You know what I mean? But Jared can go to the team and say, hey, he this is what he means, and this is why he's doing it. Sometimes you don't have time to kind of how to learn. You don't have time to kind of micromanage, or you don't have to put it in sometimes you can't politic. Sometimes you gotta get straight to the point, particularly with your team. Like on the field, you can get it. You can get somebody. You ain't
doing. What you doing?
You ain't saying it nicely.
Right.
You just keep getting in somebody. And so when they realize that that's the approach, that's where I'm coming from. It's not being an asshole, being me, but it's just like we're competing, and so that's the reason why I'm talking to you this way, to make sure that you understand that, this is, if we want to get to where we want to get to, we can't do it this way. And that's why excellence is such a very important component, because we have to, because what there's already certain stigmas and expectation based on how we look, that these people have, And so when we arrive 45 minutes or an hour early, when we deliver our deliverables a day or a week early, when we, hit stuff out of the park, when we, do things a certain way, we, they're blown away, but that's just how we have to do it, and so, our dynamics is where I fall off, or where I, I'm not looking or seeing or recognizing this is going on. Jared's there to say, okay, hey, you need to get
right.
This ain't right. You need to get in line, or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a dual threat. It's I think it's maybe LeBron and what's the tall guy? And D Wade.
LeBron, yeah. D Wade. I'm a D Wade fan.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey man. Hey. Look. Just because you said that, Jared, I might have to kick you off the live. I love D Wade too, but the combination of LeBron and AD is just unstoppable. Like they didn't need a Chris Bosh. They didn't need a Chris Bosh. You understand what I'm saying? Like they were good. But going back to what you were saying about the team, it always amazes me, when you watch a movie, and let's say the movie is an hour and 30 minutes. Hour and 30-minute movie, but when they roll the credits, it's about 1,000 people on the credits.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 1,000 people that it took to make that hour and 30-minute movie, right? When we, and that's another reason why I got in graphic design, because I felt like minorities didn't understand the importance of advertisement. They don't understand that you can have the best service, the best business in town, but if no one knows about you, it doesn't mean anything.
Right.
We said that. We said that.
It doesn't. So when I got into graphic design, I was like, I'm gonna provide affordable, designs and logos and stuff like that for a minority business. So, and teach them the importance of advertisement. So, but when you're going out and you're trying to teach them the importance of advertisement, they are so unwilling to understand the fact that McDonald's spends over $1 billion a year just to market and advertise their dollar menu. Their dollar menu. And you want to be not as successful as McDonald's, but you want to be successful. You want your business to be big, but you don't want to pay $500 for a marketing markup. Like, and the reason why you don't want to pay it, because you don't understand the true value of it, because you didn't do research about how much that would cost. You're only going by what you think it should cost. So
what you see is value.
Yeah, right. So when you deal with minority businesses, do you have, and I don't mean to disrespect you, do you have like a pro bono type of section in your, you know what I mean, where it's just let's say me, I wanted to come and I wanted to use your services, right? I don't have a BMW budget. I do not have a BMW budget, and I'm acting like one of the people that I've encountered. One of the type of people that I encountered, like, I don't know what a BMW budget consists of, but because it's BMW, I'm already thinking like it's astronomical. And therefore, I don't have an astronomical budget. I don't have a BMW budget. Let's say I came to you and I'm like, I want you to market the BRI. What would be, like, just off the cuff, a starting budget for something like that? Would it depend on what I want to do, or?
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying before, It's really this identifying the goal, and figuring out, what you're trying to do, and you kind of build it from there. And like your wife says, don't give anybody anything. So this year, you have those clients or those situations where you really want to help. You really want to, like, make it work, because you want to help somebody else. But I found, not all the time, but a large portion of the times, it's just, you're right. I mean, a lot of times there's not a understanding of how, the power of a marketing dollar, and we definitely are not trying to, take anybody's heads off, even if we have to scale back and not use everyone on our team. If we use, this person, and you do this, or even if I have to design. So like I the good thing about Jared and I is we can do it. We can do a lot of the things that we ask in our team, but it's just it's not efficient for us to spend that much time, designing or doing whatever. So sometimes I'm willing to kind of, design and kind of help out. But sometimes it's just, again, it's sometimes those customers can be our clients can be the most difficult ones, because they want so much and don't understand, what that cost is, but to answer your question, so our starting, we can work with, if you got something, it may not be exactly what you want.
Don't put a number on it either, because I see you struggling with your. Don't put a number. Yeah. You ain't got to put a number on it. Just tell me, we can work with you if you got something. Yeah. Don't put a number on it, right?
Yeah, we can work. Like I said, it may not be everything that person wants. It may be scaled back. It may be, just one thing at a time. But I don't even want to say pro bono, because I don't. If you're in business, you should
got to pay what you weigh. You got to pay what
you should have some sort of understanding of this. Like, if it's worth anything to you, then you're going to have to. And I get it. You have other expenses and other things going on, and it's such a hard. But sometimes sometimes I work with them on strategy. So I give them tools that they can do for themselves. Apps they can use, that can streamline their marketing a great deal. So if you want to use MailChimp, if you want to use Hootsuite, if you want to use like Canva, these are affordable apps that you can use yourself. That it does, they have templates, and they do, it does a lot of your work for you, to where you don't have to, spend a whole bunch of money, but you can do it on your own, and you can go into, Facebook ads, our ads manager, and you can figure out how, Instagram, you can build a campaign to where you can,
Okay, Chester, I'm gonna stop you. You telling too many secrets, man.
Okay.
I was sitting there like,
because not that anyone can do what you do, even if they have, like I tell everybody, just because you got 2 turntables don't mean you're a DJ. Like, right. So even if they can't do what what you can do by using those apps, they gonna try.
Right.
No.
You know what I mean? Like they gonna try to do it. So therefore, I just talk myself out of one person, because they gonna try at least once, right? Like they gonna try.
But so that's what I'm saying. Like with those particular clients, when I know, number one, I know that is the budget is not there, or maybe they're going to be a headache, and headaches come whether there is a on all budget scales.
A budget or no budget, right?
Budget, all budget scales. So I'm not saying it's one or the other. I'm just saying, like, I try to leave them with something, and leave them with ways to kind of, begin to drive business themselves, and to get to the point to where they can do business with us, in the future, That's one way that I approach that, particularly when it's not really worth our like, as far as, when you talk about, 4 or 5 people, if we have to pull some other people in, then it's, our starting price is probably going to be a little bit more than what you know paying. So, we try to do something, because I want to leave people with a good experience. Like every customer, like that, whether that sends us, that reaches out to us, they get a call back. We sit down, we talk, and we figure out. I want to treat everybody. I want them to have a good experience with Sharp, whether that we do business together, whether we don't, because they may 5 years from now, 6 months from now, be in a position to do business with us, and I want them to at least think, well, at least he took his time with me. At least he he didn't act like he was too good for me. At least he gave me some helpful tips and helped me figure out and get on my feet. So to now where I'm
nuggets.
Yeah, so like even like we ain't those guys, man, that we ain't Hollywood, as they say,
Nope.
And try to make time for everyone, at least give, return the emails, return the calls, return the texts, and give them just the opportunity, and give us an opportunity to talk with them. And then they'll, like I said, that's where, you can kind of price yourself out, or price them out. But, I was there, and part of how we got to where we're at is us figuring it out, figuring out how to do it ourselves. That's why I always think, we can give me enough time. We can figure it out, whatever the situation is, because, that's how we are when we walk into these large boardrooms. Sometimes, like initially, man, they would say terms and stuff that I didn't even know what it was, but we were doing it. We just didn't call it that, and so there's a learning curve for us. There was a learning curve for us as well. So I don't, man, look, we're humble, we're humble at what we've gone through. So I don't want to make anybody feel like but I don't want to waste my time either. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Well, for me, what I do is, on those cases, I try to determine whether or not the person, 3 things: whether or not the person is serious.
That's a good point.
Right. If they serious, and that gives them 1 notch, then I try to determine not is whatever it is they're trying to get me to do, the likelihood of that becoming successful. Like, how do I view that as, in the future? Will it be something that will be able to sustain and be beneficial for this particular client? Right. And then I look into the client's character. Right, like how he interacts or she interacts with me in regards to the project, and then I determine whether or not I could say, well, you know what? Because I have started out with a lot of people that I just wanted to work with, like I just wanted to work with them because I felt their spirit, I felt their determination, and I also believed in what they were doing.
Right.
And I just wanted to work with them, and it wasn't beneficial for me at that particular time. Like it didn't hurt me so much because I didn't lose any money. But as a graphic designer and as a creative agency, it ain't even about the money. It's your time. It's your time is your most important
Time
aspect.
is money.
The time is money, man. It's your time.
So
it didn't hurt me. It didn't hurt me financially. It didn't hurt me financially, right? But the time that I spent on those projects could have been spent on paying projects, right? But then it hit, right? It hit, and it's been hitting for the last 15 years, right?
Wow.
So I secured myself 15 years ago by just because I believed in what they was doing, and I'm sure y'all have those examples yourself. Like somebody came in under budget, but you just believed in what they were doing, and you believed in the product or the services, and you cut them a break because it goes back to my original thing. as a creative, you are a giver,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Full circle.
right?
And that's what I was saying earlier is like, it's not, it's important. We have to make, revenue, we have to make money, but it's not all about the money. Whether it's the big deal, we can walk away from it, or whether it's a up and coming entrepreneur, business owner that has it, but just doesn't have the finances at that particular time. It's giving them, helping them out. You recognize that, and so it's important to be able to trust your gut and know and trust the person, like you were saying, the character, how they're responding, because again, it may be a great, their product or service may blow up, and you were there, from the beginning. So I get it, man. And yes, we have, we help out probably more than we should, and we probably, we give a little bit more than we should. Like, sometimes I have a hard time saying,
Don't say you give more than you should. You don't give, you give what you give. That's what you do.
Yeah.
You give what you give, and because that's a part of you doing what you said you do anyway. You're planting seeds.
That's
You're
it.
planting,
That's
you're,
it.
you're planting seeds, like
Man.
and that's why when I can tell when you or when you do something like that, it's not something that you're gonna take your phone and you're gonna record. Yeah, I just hooked this little person up, and with this particular, you're not gonna do that.
Right.
Like I'm and you're not gonna do that because you're giving it from your heart. Like you honestly want that person to be successful, regardless if they use you anymore or not.
Right. Yeah. Like today, we didn't. I didn't take any pictures today, right? When we was with kids, like it was just, I thought about it, but it's just like that's not why I'm doing it. For the clients, we can do it. Like for them, to show their audience what they're doing. But for us, it's just, I think we God is blessing us, man. So
see, gratification comes to people in different ways, right? Some people feel gratified when they get acknowledged by what they do. That's how they feel gratified. Some people feel like that. Then you have others like myself. I feel gratified because I know what I did.
Wow.
Like I know I did. If I could look at something, I've ridden across country and seen a billboard that I've designed 500 miles away from where I live at.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And do you know the feeling of driving and seeing something that you done 500 miles away from you?
Yeah.
They let you know how far it stretches.
Listen, nobody else in the car but me. Nobody else in the car but me. And it was just an overwhelming feeling of like, it wasn't even joy. It was more like, I'm on a billboard. You know what I mean? Like I'm on a bit, and I can imagine how y'all felt when y'all did the BMW or the commercial, like that first big gig, and you saw it, you like, because you never imagined yourself being there, right? You never imagined yourself being there in that moment. So that was a surprise, but it was like a beautiful surprise, like you know what I mean, like just something that was just beautiful. That and those things push you to keep going.
And the cool thing is we had that moment, Jaron and I, with our first couple of events and stuff. But the coolest thing is when you see like Myron, he so we over the summer we work with Chick-fil-A and we work with BMW, and so when they took his images and put it on their platform, and I was able to text him and say, hey bro, your work is on Chick-fil-A and BMW regional or national. Like I said, enjoy this moment, bro, because like this is
because that's huge.
How you have a gift. Your gift to take photos is now on like $1 zillion company's platform. So that's it, take that time to enjoy it, man. And when Aaron, when he did his first, video commercial with BMW or with Mercedes or with Audi, and I was able to text him. I said, "Hey, bro, you're on there. You're on their website." Or recently, when we just killed it with the University of Georgia.
Man.
Yeah, and I was able to text Simba. I said, "Man, look, like they just posted this." So it was fun. It was good for us when Jared and I were able to post it. But it's even better when you put your team in position and they get to experience it, because they do, like Jared said, they do stuff, with artists and other stuff, but to see their faces and their expression when they see, okay, my work is on this and I did it, we did this, that's, to me, that's one of the most fulfilling, that's fulfillment for me. It's really cool, man.
It is. That's the best part of it. That's the best part of it.
I love it. It's almost like winning a championship in any sport. I don't care who the best player was. We won that thing. Like,
it took every part of that.
And listen,
every part of that.
And listen, I sent Jared a picture of what's it, Mekhi Phifer, Jared, with when he had like the 23 cigarettes because he was so stressed out. Yeah,
when he was stressed out.
Yeah, because the on set was the most challenging. Like, what could go wrong went wrong, on set. And so I was like, man.
So on set it was 2020. That's what I call 2020.
Yeah, on set it was for sure 2020. Like in March and May at the height of the pandemic type of situation. Man, I was so stressed out. And so quiet on the ride back home because we had to go to South Carolina. And then to make the long story short, like I said, we killed it. We did a great job, man. But that's just the roller coaster that you kind of on, doing this, man. But to see him and be able to text him and say, "Bro, I don't know how we did it because I was there. I know what happened, but they absolutely love this, and I love it. Super dope, And we turned in early, had a schedule. So, and he was like, man, thank you so much for putting me in this position. They're getting, some of the highest, biggest checks that they've gotten. It's a kind of it's a great feeling, man. So we don't take it lightly. I mean, that's why we do.
No. Opportunities, creating opportunities.
See, brother, I can tell right now. I'm probably glad that I don't live in any near vicinity to either one of y'all, because our prospective spouses, our wives, and our kids will probably get mad because we will be having an hour and 30-minute conversation every time we got together.
Look, at least an hour and a half.
At least. And you know what? Because we're kindred spirits, like we understand. Like, you know what? I told people, when you live long enough, and if you're paying attention, you can actually experience not being fooled by things, like no wool over your eyes. But then you can also experience the joy of what you're supposed to experience in life. Because you've seen it all, you've done it all, and now you kind of understand how to navigate through things to be able to get the best outcome out of whatever it is you're trying to do, and y'all younger than me. You're 10 years and 12 years respectively younger than me. So y'all have reached that point 10 years or 12 years before I did. Like, you know what I mean? So y'all got a good head start. Y'all have a good head start. And I want y'all to keep that momentum. Remember, the sky is the limit, man. And if you reach that, then go for the universe. You know what I mean? So just keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing, man. And I'm gonna be watching out for y'all. Like, I'm going to be watching out for y'all, because I believe that just from what I see and what I hear from both of y'all, like, there's nothing traditional about your agency and the product that you put out. And when you're not traditional, that means you're groundbreaking or forward thinking. And forward thinking, it may take some time for people to actually catch on, but they catch on. Like they catch on. You know what I mean?
I appreciate
You
that,
and
man.
you and I, like, yeah, Jordans came out, but we couldn't have really afford no Jordans when they first came out. Like they was expensive, you know. So it was the Adidas, the Converses, and the
BKs.
the BKs. Like that was it, right? But then as we got older, we caught on to the fad of the Jordan thing, and you know, we got a summer job or did something, you know, extra to get those Jordans, and we caught on. And we caught on like everybody else caught on. Now Jordan don't even need a commercial to sell shoes because everybody latched on, right? Everybody already latched on now. He don't even. When the last time you seen a Jordan commercial?
A long time.
I don't remember.
Long time.
Look,
Jordan,
and he's
I
still
tell people like Jordan and Fruit of the Loom never have to do commercials ever again.
That's it.
Fruit of the Loom,
Never.
somebody's mama at Kmart or Target right now buying them their first pack of Fruit of the Loom.
Because they always gone. They always gone.
What you doing in the Fruit of the Loom section?
Oh,
Hey, listen, I watch for everything that you can. I look for everything.
But yeah,
Listen.
so brothers, man, thank y'all, man. And look, man, next time y'all come on this interview, man, y'all not gonna hold me up for no hour and a half, brother.
Hey man, look.
Hey, look.
When Chris
Hey, look.
get together, man.
Hey, we'll make sure we put Jared's dog in the closet so he don't come bothering him.
Right.
Oh boy, that is hilarious.
Okay, so before I let my guests go, I normally ask them two questions. So y'all gonna have to try to come to a consensus of this. One person can answer one question. The other one can answer the second question. So Jared, pick a number between 1 and 2. It'll decide which question you want to answer. I've already. Hold on. Let me write a number down.
Between 1 and what?
1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Oh, okay. 2.
So you want question 2. That's what I got. Oh, it's backwards, but that's what I got written down too. It look like a 6.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got question 2. So question 1 is for you, Mr. Sharp.
Okay.
What are you doing to push the culture forward?
I think we're doing, or what I'm doing is investing in others. I mean, investing in others and creating opportunities for them to do things and to work with brands that they never could possibly imagine. And then also equally, we're also pushing the brands to embrace who we are. And I think that goes to the bigger picture of showing them the importance of having us in the boardrooms, having us in leadership positions, and then also doing business with minority-owned agencies, businesses. So that's what I'm thinking we're doing to push the culture forward.
Okay. So you chose 2, Mr. McGee. So 2 is a pretty tough question. 2 is a pretty tough question. It's just tough. So I need for you to name me 3 famous Black people, but they can't be athletes or entertainers.
Athletes or entertainers?
No, they can't be.
They can't be. They can't be.
Right.
I would say Marcus Garvey,
That's
Malcolm
what I was
X,
thinking.
and Bob Johnson.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Because we there.
Okay. So that's crazy because you may not even know the correlation of those three men that you just named. Like you may not even see how those three men are really different parts of an evolutionary train of thought in the black man's mind. Like Marcus Garvey, who is my man. That's why I held back. I love Marcus Garvey. That is my man. Marcus Garvey had the UNIA, and his followers were called Garveyites. Malcolm X's parents were Garveyites.
Yeah.
Malcolm X's parents were Garveyites. Now, the thing about that made Garveyites so special is that they had over 1 million members in America.
Wow.
They had Marcus Garvey is actually responsible for the Harlem Renaissance. With the music, and he's actually responsible for that, right? So when you really think about, and the Harlem Renaissance was entertainment. That's what it was, right? And what did Bob Johnson do?
Entertainment.
BET, Black Entertainment Television. Now you name those three people arbitrarily.
But there's a link.
But that link goes to show your character. Like how you are. Like who and the reason why I ask people to name 3 famous black people and not athletes, because that shows who you resonate with.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it also it reinforces that we need to know more about each other. Like we need to know more about history. We shouldn't just know who can play basketball or who can rap or who can act. We need to know the Charles Drews, the Paul Robesons, we need to know those people because those people actually laid the framework for people like me and you and others. They laid the groundwork. Now, that question has stumped a lot of people on my show. A lot of people, and it hurts me that it does. We should be able to name those off like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Like that, there shouldn't be no problem with that. So that's why I do it, and I'm glad that a lot of people that I interview don't watch the show to the end because they don't get the opportunity to have the answers ready when I ask the question.
Right.
And that's another reason why I didn't call you. Like, this is our first conversation. I didn't call you and say, here are the questions, this is what we're gonna do. No, that's the beauty of having my own network, right? Ain't no time limit. I can talk to y'all forever if I want to, but I gotta eat.
A wise might be differently, but
right. So I there's no time limit. Now I'm gonna have to go back and edit it, cut out some of the stuff that I talked about to try to condense it down to a time span where people will actually view the bulk of it, because no one is going to sit here and watch an hour and 45 minutes. But before I re-air it, I will most definitely send you a copy of it for your approval for re-airing, because I'm gonna have to edit some of the times down. So I want you to know that, because I don't want you to be looking at the rebroadcast and be like, I said this and that ain't even in the broadcast. Like, we done said so much, brothers, because we're kindred spirits. Now, what else before we go? tell people how they can stay abreast on your agency, like with your social media handles and your website.
So on Instagram, we're at @sharp_creative. Facebook is Sharp Creative Agency. And say again. What is it?
I don't know. Go ahead.
And LinkedIn, just Sharp Creative Agency on LinkedIn. We have a company page, of course, the website. If you have any questions, or if you're interested in doing business, our company email is info@sharpcreativeagency.com. Again, that's info@sharpcreativeagency.com. Again, we look forward to working with the listeners and potential clients. We look forward to actually working together to move the culture forward.
Right.
I think it's safe to say that your listeners are educated, smart, pro-Black, and about moving the culture forward. So whether we are right there with them, or we're fighting in different areas, we're all working together for the same cause, working towards the same thing. So we look forward to it.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
We really
man.
appreciate it, man. Really appreciate the opportunity.
No, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all having the mental fortitude to stay with somebody crazy like me for an hour and 40.
Hey, man, it's been a blast.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. Man, it's
Really enjoyed
a powerful thing, man. You got a warm spirit, man. Very knowledgeable man. You can tell you can read people really well. But I enjoyed it. I've really,
was.
yeah. I mean, we've talked for almost 2 hours, so I've enjoyed it. So you really got something special, man. Any way that we can help, any way we can kind of connect.
Yeah, please let us know.
Just let us know, man. I think like you said, kindred spirits, man. So we want to definitely help those who are helping us and help each other.
Hey man, that's the whole thing about what I'm trying to do. We don't understand that you gotta link.
Right.
Like you have to link. And the reason why you have to link is because you're not in this world by yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's not like I told someone this, and I'm gonna let you go. I told somebody this. I say, yeah, God endowed everybody with a free will, right? You can do whatever it is you want to. You can do whatever it is you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Now, if you were the only person on the earth, that free will would be uninhibited. It would be totally free. You could do whatever you want to do, totally and uninhibited, because you're the only one here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you're not, right? You're not. So now, yeah, you have free will, but because someone else is on this planet with you, a portion of that free will is required to be used in the service of somebody else.
Wow.
Right.
It's required because they're here with you.
Mm.
Right? They're here with you. You don't live on an island by yourself. So yeah, you can do what you want to do. But in doing that, you have to put an requirement within that to service someone else. And I don't mean working for them. I mean something as simple as opening the door.
Yeah.
Wearing a mask.
Wearing a mask. Look, and this is, and I'm gonna get on that, but this is my thing with that. Mike, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yeah, I got you now.
Yeah, it's the mic. It's the mic. Okay. So you will acknowledge that there is a disease out here that is killing people. Right? You're not denying that. That's not something you're denying. You acknowledge that. That is and then you also acknowledge that we have no cure for this particular disease. You acknowledge all of that. but yet and still, you don't want to go on lockdown, nor do you want to wear a mask.
And you want to make the mask political.
Right.
That's ludicrous.
Makes no sense. I mean,
None at all.
And this is the thing. You know how simple knocking out COVID-19 would be? Lock everything down for 2 weeks.
That's it. Lock
So-
it down for 2 weeks, and you
Lock
good.
everything
Like-
down, no movement, done. 2 weeks. It's a wrap.
Totally locking down everything.
Wrap. But you want to make it political in that the government trying to take over my freedom.
and you
Well,
got 270,000 people done died because of. Makes no sense.
None at all.
And then the conspiracy theorists say the government trying to control us, right? And this is my question for that. If you believe that they're doing not just the U.S. government, the world,
You're right. The world.
Right.
like the world, if you believe that the world is manufacturing either fear or a virus to control us, okay, I'm a ride with that. I'm gonna say, okay, that may be true, but tell me, why would they do that? What would be in it for them to do
What
that?
money is in it for them?
First of all, they already got control because they got the control over all the money anyway.
Yeah, ain't no money
Right.
thing. Yeah, ain't no money
Right.
thing.
Money is not money. So what are they trying to control? What are they trying to control? Because it's not money. They got control. Look, when the last time you had some cash?
That's right. That's
When the
right.
last time you had cash?
I got a card. I got a cash out.
Right. and that card can be shut off like that. Boop,
Right.
done. It's
By
a
a
wrap.
button.
By a button. They can just say no, freeze his accounts. Done.
Yep.
So when you tell me they want control, what type of control do they want?
That they don't already have.
Got it.
Yeah, that they
They-
don't already have.
But they can't answer that, right? They can't because they hadn't thought beyond the control conspiracy, right? They haven't like for every action there is a reasoning behind it.
Mm.
For every action, you did this because of this, right? If you
Right.
can't tell me why they want to control me, don't tell me that it's manufactured. Don't tell me nothing. But just put on your mask.
That's all you got to do. Put on your
And
mask.
we can argue about something that's worth arguing about, but you wearing a mask is not. You shouldn't take a stand on wearing a mask. That's like the wrong thing to take a stand on. We can argue about something else, but wearing a mask, like, it makes no sense.
And it's not about you. It's about making sure that everybody else is taken care of.
Look, I don't even care about that though, Jared. I don't even care about that, y'all. This is my thing. People act like they being asked to wear the mask 24 hours a day. You actually wear the mask only when you go out in public. You may go to the grocery store. You may be in the grocery store for 20 minutes at tops. You can't wear a mask for 20 minutes. Come on. And then they talk about the health issues that go along with the mask. Women
The
wear
health issues that go along with the pandemic.
But listen, you got women in the Middle East that walk around with their face covered their whole life. Like
They're in great shape.
their whole life.
Right.
Their whole life. And they ain't talking about, oh, I can't breathe. And if you can't breathe, it's probably indicative to an unhealthy lifestyle that you have.
You need to lose some weight.
Right.
You can't tell me
It's ridiculous.
million women in the Middle East wearing face coverings their whole life can wait a minute, not only that, in the sun.
It's billion
Right.
degrees.
In the Middle East.
That sun hit different in the Middle East.
In the sun, and you're gonna complain that you got to wear a mask for 20 minutes. So it ain't even about the mask, it's about and I equate it to is when a mother tell a child not to do something, that child gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
He just gonna he curious to know what'll happen, right? Like he curious to know. So all these kids, like I tell people, I don't even care if you wear a mask. I'm gonna protect myself. That's on you. Like I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna protect myself, and I don't even care if you wear a mask. But I just have one question to ask you. Have you ever heard someone say, you know what? I wore a mask and I practiced social distancing and I still got infected. You ain't never heard nobody say that.
No,
never heard, right? If you ain't never heard that, then why you not wearing a mask? Because you're hard headed.
Right. That's all it is.
You hard
Yeah,
headed.
man.
And what they say a hard head makes?
Make salt
behind.
In this case, and in this case, fluid in the lungs.
Right.
Right. Like fluid in the lungs. And I'm not even trying to laugh at anyone's tragedy. Right. I'm not trying to laugh. Like, no, not at all. I believe it's real. And you know, I act accordingly. Right. I act accordingly. But when you and when people say that people who are wearing masks, they're jeopardizing other people, right? I don't even worry about the people who are not wearing masks jeopardizing me because I got on the mask.
Right, I'm good.
Me talking about you not wearing masks is trying to save you.
Exactly.
I'm trying to save you. Like I'm wearing a mask. I'm trying to save you. But sometimes, man, I tell my son, everybody gotta take their lumps.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, everybody gotta take their lump. And I done had enough lumps in my life that I don't want no more. Especially the ones that I can prevent from happening.
Exactly.
Right.
You know. So, brothers, 2 hours later, me and this I really enjoyed it. Don't even feel like 2 hours will do it, brother.
It really don't, man. It flew by. It flew by.
I enjoyed
it. And I got something big. Let me do this outro. Stay right here for a minute. Let me do my outro because I got something big that I think that y'all will want to be a part of, and I want your input on it, but I don't want to announce it live because I want to make sure it's dead right before it comes out, and I think y'all can help me get it dead right. So let me do the outro, and I'll come right back to you. Okay.
Okay.
All right, man.
All right, that was two good brothers. I know this show is 2 hours long, and I'm gonna edit it down so you know, so people can view it. But look, for me, I'm gonna keep the original copy, and I'm gonna continue to watch this because the brother spirit was very welcoming and opening, and it was just a real conversation, and that's what I wanted it to be, a real conversation between three brothers who are trying to make a difference and push the culture forward. So I'm gonna do my outro, and I'm gonna come back and close out. All right. But you brothers in the green room, y'all don't go nowhere.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, everybody. This is Arthur Custodio Gomes, and I'm checking out BRI, Black Research Institute, with my brother, Denoris Wilson. So check him out.
What's up? What's up? What's up? It's your girl Paulette from Suitland, Maryland, and you're watching BRI Black Research Institute with my boy Denoris Wilson. Stay tuned.
Okay, I'd like to thank everyone for riding with us for 2 hours. I know this was a long interview, but it was a very enlightening, gratifying, uplifting, and fulfilling interview for me, at least. And I hope if any of you small businesses, big businesses, or entrepreneurs need any type of marketing or advertisement, you will look up Sharp Creative Agency. But I'm gonna leave you to do, and I hope everyone have a great weekend. And remember, on Monday we got Dr. Umar Johnson coming on the show, so make sure you tune in. I'm excited to interview him, and everyone have a good weekend. And remember, in order for you to receive a blessing, you must first be a blessing. All right, have a good weekend. Peace.
Thank you.